this cute stone little frog, So, yeah, I feel like punching a Nazi is probably the least that they deserve.
Wendy, what are your thoughts? Because I was talking to you about this a little bit earlier.
Okay, so I guess it's because I have been known to work for government agencies in the past. Officially, if you are representing your company, our group, any of these things, I cannot officially condone punching Nazis. However, on your own time or under your own name, please, by all means, go right ahead and do so. Yeah, I don't want to have him go up and punch somebody in the face and say, hey, this is from Nasty Women Nation. But
don't do that, please.
Yes, as much as we all might like to, we can do so on our individual basis, but officially we cannot condone any violence against anybody at this point. I won't say anything about what might happen in the future, but at this point, no. We're going to try and everybody just get along.
Hey, yeah, we can do that. Dex, did you have something you wanted to add to that?
Oh, I do. My favorite guy in the whole wide world, Captain Steve Rogers, on the cover of Captain America #1 was punching a Nazi in the face. That's my role model. And a dear friend of mine who's a Marine, when I first started bringing it up on Facebook, said, "There's nothing more goddamn American than punching a Nazi in the face." It's a proud American tradition that I am happy to uphold. So, do it for America. Do it for the babies. Do it for everybody.
Well, there it is. Punching Nazis is just as American as apple pie, ladies and gentlemen.
Right.
Absolutely.
And I'm all out of... Wait, Wendy, you were showing me there was a sign that said, I came here to...
I came here to knit hats and punch Nazis, and I'm all out of yarn. Was the hat, or was the sign that I saw, and that was fantastic.
Oh my god. Okay, so, yeah, I think it's awesome.
Yes.
Guys, I'm gonna be that guy. I'm gonna be that guy and say, I am on the fence about punching Nazis.
Would you rather kick a
never
Nazi?
ever thought I would say in my life. I thought I would totally be pro punching Nazi. And I think part of my concern is what it might unleash and the way in which we conduct ourselves has been held to such a standard. I mean, let's face it, every time anybody on the left does something, there's, oh, well, they did this wrong. I mean, anybody on the right is going to say why and how we did it wrong. And my concern is that, openly engaging in violence would negatively affect further what we're aiming for. I mean, I know. All right, bring it on. Tell me why I'm wrong.
Katie, did you have something you wanted to say?
This is coming from the Buddhists, so just FYI. Who generally is all about the nonviolence and all about the compassion for other living creatures. When you systematically advocate for the genocide of another race, you deserve to be punched in the head. And to be concerned about what this might make Nazis think of us is kind of, or even people who claim not to be Nazis but support Nazis. There is a time and a place for violence. This country was founded on violence. We didn't politely ask the British to leave. We set shit on fire and dumped tea in the ocean and killed people over
Absolutely. I think, and I might have misrepresented myself. I think what I'm concerned is with the time and place. I want to make sure that when we start this fight, this is the fight we can finish. That, you know what I mean? I mean, if you just go around and you punch one Nazi, you're opening a can of Nazi worms, and
And you're telling
I
the
agree
other
with you.
Nazis they should probably watch themselves because they're going to punch
yeah.
in the face. That's what you're telling them. And here's the deal: this fight has already started. This fight started, at least for the people on Trump's side. This fight started a long time ago. This fight is nothing new. I mean, we keep talking about Nazis, but let's get real here. America was founded on racism. America was founded on hatred, and built on the backs of Native Americans and people of color. This is not a new thought process for a lot of Americans. And this is a fight that has been a long time coming, and I'm fine with that. I think there's a lot of people out there who have been fighting this fight a lot longer than, especially the women, who are on Nasty Women Nation. And they would be the ones to tell you, hey, it's totally appropriate for violence right now. And that's where I take my cues, is when people who have been in this a lot longer than I have are saying, yeah, that's fine. There is always a time and a place for this sort of stuff. And guess what? Now's the time and now's the place.
Wendy, did you have anything you wanted to add?
No, not really on this subject. I have a really, really, really hard time with the whole idea of playing nice and getting along with Nazis. But yeah, again, at this point, I can't advocate any kind of violence on a official basis.
Yeah,
I'll be
I need to
diplomatic.
clarify. I don't want to play along and get nice with Nazis. No.
Well,
That's not
nobody's
it at all.
playing along and getting nice with Nazis. Kelly, what are your thoughts?
I think there is a huge, and maybe there's not even a huge difference. There's clearly a difference between what happened here, which was a single person throwing a single punch. He didn't continue. Nobody had to stop him. I assume it was a guy who threw the punch. I didn't get to see too much of the video. I just kind of saw some stills. And then I think there's definitely a difference between that and if a riot had actually happened. If there were a group of people attacking this one Nazi, definitely Nazi. So I think that it's not even condoning a punch or hitting Nazis or condoning violence and going, that's okay. Because yes, I do agree that it's always okay to hit a Nazi. But at the same time, I do understand that we do have to hold ourselves to a little bit higher standards, because if we're not going to, who is? But again, there's definitely a clear line between what happened and the real serious violence that we need to talk about, I think.
I definitely agree that there is a time and a place, and about the when they go low we go high type mentality. I get that. But I also do kind of agree with Katie in the sense that the fight has definitely already started, especially when you look back at the election and at some of the big rallies when you had anti-Trump people that had gone to these rallies and are getting slapped and hit and physically thrown out of these rallies. It almost felt like they threw the first punch, and it's just slowly escalated into where we are now.
Yeah. I mean, there's
I want it to escalate in the right way, I think is what I'm kind of getting at. And my fear is that it's going to escalate in a way that people who shouldn't get hurt will get hurt. Because when those tensions run so high and mob mentality kicks in, we have to be very careful that we are making sure that who we are punching are actually Nazis.
Well, that's true. That's very true. I can't argue that.
They're usually not too quiet about who they are, though. So they're really easy to find.
Look for the Pepe the Frog pin.
Yeah.
We check.
Well, I mean, okay, this is kind of the way I feel about it. Time, whether there is no right time or right place. If a Nazi shows up, that's the right time and the right place. If you've got some asshole standing there saying, well, the problem with this country is all the black people, or all the Latina people, or all the Muslims. Punch that guy in the head. just straight up. Don't debate whether it's the right thing or what kind of message it sends. No, punch that guy in the fucking head. There is no reason to hesitate, no reason to wait. As far as making sure whether or not people get hurt, people are going to get hurt in this, unfortunately. That's just how it is. People are going to get hurt. All we can do is try to minimize the damage and try to not let the Nazis get in any further than they already are. Unfortunately, they're already in the White House, so, all we can really do now is fight back, and fighting back is not pretty, and it's never has been. So...
Well, one of the things that, we were talking about at the beginning is, despite the fact that we've had all these marches and things like that, we still have a long way to go as far as things that we can do, things that we need to be keeping an eye on, looking out for. Wendy, I think you were making a list of some of the things that people can do as far as staying active, staying vigilant. What did you have?
Well, I think definitely find your local groups. The main thing that we need to be working toward is midterm elections and local elections, and making sure that you're getting involved in those things, because, I know that so many people were very pro third-party candidates in this election, and I think that probably helped contribute to the results of the election, but people need to remember that you can't start a revolution from the top and go down. You have to start from the bottom. You have to do grassroots. You have to get, your third-party candidates or your progressive candidates elected on a local level, and that takes involvement. And I know that, especially here locally around Houston itself is a very blue area, and when you just go slightly north, Montgomery County, Texas, they've been solid red for years, and these candidates are running unopposed. And so we've got to get our candidates into the races, because if there's nobody to vote for, you can't vote against these red candidates. Also, I think my new morning routine is getting up, getting my coffee, and calling the switchboard at the Capitol building, and that number is 202-224-3121, and you can put your zip code in there, and it will connect you to the representatives you need to talk to. And I think every day we need to get up, get our coffee, call that number, and ask what they intend to do about the lies coming out of the White House. I mean, just the more people we can get calling them and calling them out on the absolute bullshit that's coming out of the press secretary and out of the official White House counselor, Kellyanne Conway, I'm sorry. All of this stuff, we need to call them out on it, and we need to make sure that they are holding these people accountable. There are a lot of cabinet positions and a lot of ambassador positions that need to be nominated and have to be vetted, and I really think that they are tempted to rubber stamp all of this stuff, and it really needs to be a high priority accountability. And that's what I've got for right now.
Kara, did you have anything you wanted to add to that?
So as far as finding local groups, I think that can be difficult sometimes because a lot of them are hidden on Facebook especially. So one I wanted to tell people to check out that is nationwide is at indivisibleguide.com, which is a guide that's fantastic, that everyone should absolutely read. And you can find those people, and it will just make you feel so much better, especially if you're in a particularly red area, because you'll know then that you're not alone. You will find other people who are progressive like you living in your very red area. I promise you they are there, and a lot of times they're just kind of on the down low because it's not necessarily acceptable in certain places to be progressive. So I think the Indivisible movement is a great way to find them, and you can always message us if you're having trouble finding your people. Message us on Facebook or wherever, and we'll help you to find your people. I promise.
Yeah, definitely.
Dex, did you have anything else you wanted to add?
No, I think I've gotten enough cussing in for one day.
How about you, Katie?
Like just in general.
Yeah, just in general.
I'm like,
Or-
I'm like,